Most people know Reed Hastings as the co-founder of Netflix, the company that changed the way the world watches movies and television. Today, Netflix has hundreds of millions of subscribers and has become one of the biggest entertainment companies in history. But what most people don't know is that Netflix was born because of one frustrating mistake. Before the billions, before streaming, and before Netflix became a household name, Reed Hastings made a simple error that completely changed his life. It was a mistake that most people would have forgotten. Instead, Reed turned it into one of the greatest business opportunities of all time. Reed Hastings grew up with a love for learning and problem solving. After graduating from college, he joined the Peace Corps and spent time teaching mathematics in Africa. The experience taught him patience, resilience, and how to solve problems with limited resources. When he returned to the United States, he entered the technology industry and eventually founded a software company called Pure Software. The business grew quickly, and after several years, it was acquired for hundreds of millions of dollars. Financially, Reed had already achieved what many people dream of. He could have retired comfortably, but he wasn't interested in stopping. He wanted to build something even more meaningful. Then something unexpected happened. According to Reed Hastings, he returned a rented movie late to a video rental store and was charged a late fee. The amount wasn't enormous, but the experience stayed with him. He began asking himself a simple question: why should customers be punished for keeping something longer than expected? Most people would have paid the fee and moved on. Reed couldn't stop thinking about it. The more he thought about the problem, the more he realized it wasn't just about one late fee. It was about an entire business model that created frustration for customers. Instead of accepting that this was simply how movie rentals work, Reed wondered if there was a better way. That question became the turning point of his life. In 1997, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph founded Netflix. Instead of requiring customers to visit a store, Netflix allowed people to order DVDs online and receive them by mail. Even more importantly, Netflix eventually introduced a subscription model with no late fees. Customers could keep movies longer without worrying about extra charges. At first, the idea seemed unusual. Many people believed customers would always prefer visiting rental stores. The biggest company in the industry, Blockbuster, dominated the market with thousands of locations around the world. Compared to Blockbuster, Netflix looked tiny. The early years weren't easy. Building a nationwide DVD by mail service required time, money, and patience. The company struggled to grow, and there were moments when survival wasn't guaranteed. In fact, Reed Hastings once approached Blockbuster with an offer to sell Netflix. Blockbuster said no. Executives believed Netflix wasn't worth buying. Most people would have been discouraged by that rejection. Reed Hastings saw it differently. Instead of giving up, he focused on improving the business. He believed technology would eventually change the way people watched entertainment. Years later, as internet speeds improved, Reed made another bold decision. He shifted Netflix away from DVDs and invested heavily in streaming. Once again, many people doubted him. Streaming required enormous investment. There was no guarantee customers would abandon DVDs. Some critics believed the company was moving too quickly, but Reed wasn't building Netflix for the present. He was building it for the future. That decision changed everything. Streaming transformed the entertainment industry. Millions of people began watching movies and television online instead of renting physical DVDs. Netflix expanded across the world, produced award-winning original shows and films, and became one of the most influential media companies in history. The small company that started because of one frustrating customer experience became a global giant. Reed Hastings became a billionaire, but the lesson from his story isn't about movies, it isn't about streaming, and it isn't about building a billion-dollar company. The real lesson is about paying attention to everyday problems. Most people experience inconvenience and simply accept it. Reed Hastings asked how it could be improved. He understood that some of the biggest opportunities begin with the smallest frustrations. The turning point wasn't launching Netflix. It wasn't becoming a billionaire. It wasn't creating hit television shows. The turning point was the moment Reed Hastings refused to accept that a frustrating experience had to stay that way, because sometimes the biggest businesses are built by solving problems that everyone else has learned to ignore. And that's the simple mistake that made Reed Hastings a billionaire.